Math Pro. And yes, that's me. I am Sir A. And for today's lesson, we will be talking all about ratio. Do you know how to interpret a ratio? Well, if not, make sure to watch this video until the end so you'll be able to understand what ratio is. What is ratio? A ratio is a comparison between two or more different quantities. It tells how much of one thing there is as compared to another thing. It is about a relationship between two number of objects or things. Let's have an example. Suppose the ratio of apple to banana is 1:2. Does it mean there is only one apple and two bananas? Yes, it could be, but remember, a ratio is a relationship. The ratio 1:2 tells us that for every one apple, there are two bananas, which means when we add one more apple, we have to add two more bananas. And if there are three apples, then there will be 6 bananas. We can also say that the ratio of apples to bananas is 3:6. Let's have another example. The ratio of length to the width of a rectangle is 5:3. Are we talking only about one rectangle with a length of 5 units and a width of 3 units? Of course not. Again, the ratio of 5:3 means that for every 5 units of length, there are 3 units of width. Meaning, when you double the length of the rectangle, you also have to double the width of the rectangle. So the ratio of 5:3 could be a rectangle with a length of 10 units and a width of 6 units. And there are actually a lot more of rectangles with a ratio of 5:3 with respect to its length and width. A guava juice recipe calls for 3 guavas for every glass of water. That means that the ratio of guavas to glass of water is 3:1. So for 3 guavas, you'll be able to prepare 1 glass of guava juice. And if you want to prepare 2 glasses of guava juice, then you'll be needing 6 guavas. 6 guavas is to 2 glasses of guava juice. And if you have 9 guavas in all, then you'll be able to prepare 3 glasses of guava juice. How do we write ratio? There are 3 different ways of writing ratio. You can write ratio in column form like this, in fraction form, and in word form. Like fractions, ratio is simplified by dividing its term by their GCD. Suppose we have this ratio written in column form, 8:12. The GCD of 8 and 12 is 4. So to simplify the ratio 8:12, we need to divide each term of the ratio by 4. And then we will get its simplest form, 2:3. When a ratio is written in fraction form, we will just do the same thing. Like fraction, we also have to look for their GCD. So in this example, the GCD of 12 and 30 is 6. So we divide them by their GCD. Then the simplest form of the ratio is 2:5. The ratio and its simplest form are equivalent ratios. Let's have an example. Given again the ratio of apple to banana, that is 1:2. Again, if we add 1 more apple, then we need to add 2 more bananas. So there are now 4 apples and 8 bananas. We can say that the ratio of apples to bananas is 4:8. That's right. You can write the ratio of two objects by simply counting them. If we have 4 apples and 8 bananas, then the ratio of apples to bananas could also be 4:8. Suppose we write them in fraction form. But notice that 4:8 can be simplified. Their GCD is 4. So dividing them by their GCD, then we'll get the ratio 1:2. Or in column form 1:2. So we go back to the original ratio of apple to banana, which is 1:2. As seen in the previous example, ratio can be written in fraction form and can be simplified as well like fractions. But the question is, how is ratio different from fractions? Let us take this for example. In the ratio 1:2, the terms of the ratio 1 and 2 refers to different objects. 1 refers to the number of apple, while 2 refers to the number of bananas. In ratio, we are talking about two different objects. The terms of the ratio pertains to two different objects. But in a fraction 1:2, the numerator and the denominator of the fraction refers to one object only. For this example, in 1/2, both 1 and 2 refers to the apple. So in fraction, we are talking about only one object, specifically a part of an object. In ratio, order is important. The ratio 1:2 means 1 apple for every 2 bananas. But the ratio 2:1 means 2 apples for every 1 banana. So in ratio, we cannot interchange the position of the terms, because when you do so, it would mean different things. Ratio could have 3 or more terms. In the illustration, the ratio of apples to mangoes is 3:4. The ratio of mangoes to bananas is 4:2, or in simplest form, 2:1. And the ratio of apples to bananas to mangoes is 3:2:4. When there are 3 terms in a ratio, we cannot write it anymore in fraction form. A ratio could be a part-to-part ratio. It is a ratio that compares a selected number of parts to a number of other parts in a whole. For example, there are 20 males and 30 females in a class. The ratio of males to females in a class is 20/30. Or in simplest form, it's 2:3. The ratio is a part-to-part ratio because both terms of the ratio are parts of a class, the males and the females. A ratio could be a part-to-whole ratio. It is a ratio that compares a selected number of groups to the combined number of all groups. Let us use the same example. There are 20 males and 30 females in a class. The ratio of females to the number of students in a class is 30:50, or in simplest form, 3:5. The ratio is a part-to-whole ratio because we compare the number of females, which is just one group, to the total number of combined groups in the class. So all in all, there are 50 students in a class, including the females. In a part-to-whole ratio, you always need to get the combined number of all groups. Let us have more examples. In a bouquet of flowers, there are 10 white and there are 15 red roses. What is the ratio of white to red flowers? You're right. The answer is 10 is to 15. What is the simplest form of this ratio? That's correct. 2 is to 3. How do you classify the ratio of white to red roses? See it. The ratio is an example of a part-to-part ratio because both the white and the red roses are part of the total number of flowers in a bouquet. What is the ratio of red roses to the total number of flowers in the bouquet? That's correct. 15 is to 25 because all in all, there are 25 roses in a bouquet. In simplest form, the ratio is 3 is to 5. How do you classify this ratio? Great! This is a part-to-whole ratio. Can you try this on a piece of paper? In a 40-item test, Pedro's score is 24. Assuming that he was able to answer all the questions, alright, I want you to pause the video for a while and spend few minutes to answer the following questions. Right, let us see if you are able to get the correct answers. Number 1, the answer is 3 is to 5. Again, your answer should always be in simplest form. Number 2, the answer is 3 is to 2. Since his score is 24, that means his incorrect answers are 16. So 24 is to 16 in simplest form is 3 is to 2. Number 3, the answer is 2 is to 5. Number 4, the answer is item number 2. So in item number 2, we are asked in a part-to-part ratio which is the correct answers and the incorrect answers.